Welcome to our today anatomy class. In our today's class, we'll be looking at the gross anatomy of the fetal skull. If you haven't watched my video on the embryology of the fetal skull, please ensure to do so. The fetal skull simply refers to the bone in the head of the developing baby. The developing baby at 9th week of development up to birth is referred to as the fetus. So the skull of that fetus is what we'll be discussing in our today's class. The fetal skull has two parts, the cranium and the fascial skeleton, just like the adult skull. The cranium is made up of 8 bones. These bones are the frontal bone, the parietal bone, the temporal bone, the occipital bone, the sphenoid bone, and the ethmoid bone. The frontal bone is 1, the parietal bone is 2, the temporal bones are 2, the occipital bone is 1, the sphenoid bone is 1, and the ethmoid bone is 1. Altogether, we have 8 cranial bones. Now, the model of the fetal skull, right here with me, illustrates clearly how this bone looks in the developing baby. The upper part of the skull is here we are calling the cranium, while the anterior part is called the fascial skeleton. So the fascial skeleton is made up of 14 bones. So we have the zygomatic bone right here. We have the palatine bone forms the roof of the mouth. The zygomatic bone forms the cheek. So the zygomatic bones are 2, the palatine bones are 2, the maxilla is 1, the mandible is 1, the vomer is 1, the inferior concha is 2, the lacrimal bone is 2, the nasal bone is 2. So altogether we have 14 fascial bones. So the fascial bone forms the fascial skeleton, which is the bone of the face. So the nasal bone forms the bones of the nose. The lacrimal bone, they form at the medial part of the orbital cavity. The maxilla form the bone at the upper part of the jaw. The bone at the lower part of the jaw is called the mandible. The vomer form part of the nasal cavity, while the inferior concha also contributes to the formation of the nasal cavity. Now, some authors include some associated bone in the fetal skull. The fetal skull is also made up of these 7 associated bones. The bones include 1 hyoid bone, 2 stapes, 2 incus, 2 malleus. So the stape, incus, and malleus are the small bones of the hair. It is pertinent to know that these bones are the smallest bone in the human body, the stapes, the incus, and the malleus. So each ear contains 1. The hyoid bone supports the tongue and the larynx. So what I want us to know regarding the bones of the fetal skull is that altogether there are 29 bones in the fetal skull, the same as the adult skull. Let's quickly look at the sutures of the fetal skull. 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 The sutures are fibrous tissues. The sutures are fibrous tissues that connect 2 or more bones of the fetal skull. And we have about 5 of those sutures. We have the frontal suture. We have the frontal suture. We have the coronal suture. We have the sagittal suture. We have the lambdoidal suture. Then we now have the squamous. We have the squamous suture. The frontal suture connects the 2 frontal bones. So between the two frontal bones, we have the frontal suture, while between the two parietal bones, we have a suture called the sagittal suture. Between the frontal bones and the parietal bone, at the middle right here, we have the coronal suture. Laterally, between the temporal bone and the parietal bone, we have a suture called the squamous suture. While between the occipital bone right here and the parietal bone in front, we have a suture known as the lambdoidal suture. So these are the sutures of the fetal skull. Now, another thing that I want us to consider in relation to the fetal skull is the fontanelles. The fontanelles. Now, the fontanelles are, we have two main fontanelles in the fetus. We have the anterior fontanelle, we have the anterior fontanelle, we have the anterior fontanelle, as well as posterior fontanelle. We have anterior and what? Posterior fontanelle. What are these fontanelles? Fontanelles are membranous area situated at the junction between two or more sutures. So these fontanelles are only present in the skull of the fetus prior to ossification, prior to the hardening of the skull. Now, the anterior fontanelle lies at toward the anterior part of the skull. This is the anterior fontanelle, lies at the anterior part. At the posterior part, we have the posterior fontanelle. The anterior fontanelle is diamond in shape. It lies at the junction between frontal suture, coronal suture, and sagittal suture. So at the junction between the frontal suture, coronal suture, and the what? Sagittal suture, we have a diamond-shaped membrane known as the anterior fontanelle. While the posterior fontanelle lies at the junction between the sagittal suture and the lambdoidal suture. The anterior fontanelle, at about 18 months after birth, it ossifies, it hardens to become what we call bregma. So in adults, what we have is bregma. So at about 18 months, that is 1 year, 6 months after birth, the anterior fontanelle ossifies to form bregma. While the posterior fontanelle, after 6 weeks of birth, it ossifies to become a structure called the lambda. Ossifies to become a structure called the lambda. The sutures and fontanelles enable molding during labor. It enables the compression of the fetal skull as the fetal skull passes through the bony pelvis. So for labor to progress easily, the sutures and the fontanelle play this significant role called molding. Another thing that I want us to know about the fetal skull is this: the clinical significance of the fontanelle matters a lot in medicine. So what is the clinical significance of the fontanelles? One, assessment of health status. Assessment of health status. Assessment of health status. Brain development. As I stated earlier, it allows molding to take place. It also helps in the determination of the fetal positions. So these, among others, are the clinical significance of the fontanelle. So when the anterior fontanelle is depressed, it indicates dehydration in the baby. When it is bulging, it indicates high intracranial pressure, common in meningitis and among other conditions associated with the skull. Brain development. When the baby is giving birth to, the brain is able to grow in size because the anterior fontanelle is membranous and it allows expansion of the skull. Molding. The anterior fontanelle makes it possible for the baby's the scores to overlap, to compress as the baby passes through the birth canal. Fetal position. During vaginal examination, the midwife can pass her hand through the vaginal canal to determine the position of the baby in the uterus. Now, another thing that we should know about the fetal score is the phases of growth of the score after birth. We have the first period of growth. We have the second period of growth, and then lastly we have the third period of growth. The first period of growth is between the first from birth to 7 years of birth. The posterior part of the skull tends to grow, while in the second period of growth, the skull is experiencing a resting phase. The skull does not grow at that point. While in the third period of growth, it extends from puberty to the end of skeletal growth, which is around 23 years, where the anterior part of the skull expands, it grows. So the anterior part of the skull expands after puberty. The anterior part of the skull grow after puberty, but the posterior part tends to grow at the first 7 years of life. Then finally, on the fetal score is the abnormalities of the fetal score. Abnormalities associated with the fetal score. One is called microcephalia. We have macrocephalia. We have hydrocephalia. Then we have what we call craniosynostosis. So microcephalia is a small size skull due to the inability of the skull to grow after birth. Macrocephalia is the disproportional growth of the skull after birth. The skull is abnormally large. Hydrocephalia, this is a voluminous skull. It's skull that contains excess cerebrospinal fluid. Then craniosynostosis is a clinical condition whereby the sutures and fontanelle ossifies before time. So this is how far we're going with the fetal score. I believe your understanding has been deepened by this class. I look forward to seeing you in my next class. I'm Simon, your anatomy educator. Watch out for more of my videos.